Hello good folks of the vinyl community, this is Mike, PC31, the vinyl policeman, and this video is all about my April pickups, and I had a fantastic month. I think 16 albums. It was a really good month. Went to some record fairs and all manner of things, and of course it was record store day, and on top of the 16, the 5 I picked up at record store day, which are in another video which I'll link in this one in case you haven't seen it. But I picked up Alice in Chains, The Sound, Strawberries, The Stranglers, Ballsy by Slade, Ambrose Slade at the time, and Dave Davis's Kinked, fantastic compilation album. So I'm really pleased with the pickups there. Before I get into it, just wanted to do a quick shout out to another VC member, Ben Rankins in Melbourne, down under Australia. Ben's got a fantastic channel, really entertaining. You learn an awful lot about Australian music, but he's a really good fun guy, always really entertaining videos. Ben was running a contest actually, which finished last night, and I've had a hectic back end of the week, so I couldn't get an entry in, so apologies Ben. But in tribute to Ben, I've got a couple of albums I'm going to show which I picked up during the month, which are from his home city, Melbourne, so they're coming up. So in this particular one, I've got a growl I've picked up this month. I've got a prog classic, I've got some contemporary psych, soundtrack, glam rock, shoegaze classic, and at the end I'm going to show my most played album of the month, which I just can't get off the turntable. But anyway, start off with a soundtrack which I've been after for a long time, and I saw it on Embryonic Robot Brian's channel a short while ago when he was doing a contest for soundtracks. Hyena by Matt Johnson, the really terrific. It's playing in the background now. The album, it's kind of electronic, ambient, very edgy, and it's got a feel of Bowie's Low. I feel that when I listen to the album, but it's really good. It's a good strong album. 2 records of blue vinyl, and the 4th side, which is just etched. But I think it's great. I hope you can see it. We've got the on the etched side. I love all that sort of thing. I think it's brilliant. It's a good album. And it's got a lovely textured sleeve as well. The next one is one which wasn't in my collection. Richard McCook would be absolutely disgusted, but it's in the collection now. It's a reissue, but it's from 1972, the Slider T.Rex. So this is T.Rex's 3rd album. As Tyrannosaurus Rex, it would have been the 7th album. Reached number 5 in the UK, 17 in the US. It's got Metal Guru on it and Telegram Sam, so you just got to get it. It's a fantastic album. 2 superb singles, great album. Tony Visconti, producer. I like most things that Tony Visconti produces. He also took the photograph, the cover photograph. It was said at first that Ringo Starr took the cover photograph because they were making Born to Boogie, the T.Rex film at the time, and Ringo was walking about with a camera, but apparently Tony Visconti actually took this photograph, which is really iconic. So for 1972, Slider, T.Rex. Excellent stuff. Next one is from 1972, 3rd album, made at Abbey Road, and it was the one which really broke them all together now by Argent. And this is the one with the massive single Hold Your Head Up, which I think was the best-selling Argent single, most successful single, reached number 5 in the UK and in the US, and was also covered by Steppenwolf. Yeah, this is the first press. The thing which really jumped off the shelf, I bought this at a record fair, but the thing which jumped off the shelf is just a Kinks bass player who I absolutely loved, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, Jim Rodwell, in the front there. Dear Jim, wonderful guy and a fantastic bass player, really good entertainer, really good bass player for the Kinks, where I know him best. But he was also in the Zombies, Argent, Kinks and others. This is fantastic inside actually. As I say, it's a first press original, but if I just quickly pull the inside, because what you've got is still got an inner with it, way back in '72. You got Rod Argent, you got each member of the band, yeah. And at the back there you got Jim, here we go, Jim Rodford, let's say, fantastic chap. I think I said wow, I do apologise. Jim Rodford, love the guy, brilliant. Argent, 1972. Next one is a prog classic, and it's one which I had in my collection for many years, and unfortunately when there was a little bit of downsizing in the 80s and albums were going out, Mrs. PC31 encouraged me to sell a few, and this was one which disappeared, but it's now back in. It's a reissue, as you'll understand, the Court of the Kings and Cream. 1969 debut, really good album. I've always enjoyed this album. The artwork is just absolutely staggering. Robert Fripp's got the original painting hanging up in his collection, but superb cover, but that's now back in the collection. Court of the Crimson King. Next one is one I picked up. It's from 1980, the debut album of the Pretenders, Chrissie Hynde and the boys. This is the album with Stop Your Sobbing, Kid, Brass in Pocket. Obviously Ray Davies wrote Stop Your Sobbing. Nick Lowe actually was going to produce the album, but I think he only produced Stop Your Sobbing because he didn't think much of the material, and so Chris Thomas, the brilliant Chris Thomas, took over and produced it. But this is a first press UK one, unreal. It was Sire in the US, but really fantastic, strong album from the fast track Precious. Great Pretenders album. Love this one, played this quite a lot in the month. Next one is one which probably the community not that familiar with, but it's the growl for me in the month, one that I've been after for years and years. Really rare. The Sounds, Adrian Borland. So this is called Brittle Heaven, and this is possibly Adrian Borland's best solo album. So this came out in 1992, and it was his second studio album. It's, but if you notice it, beautiful melancholic pop songs, maybe his best. Somebody wrote about this, full of hidden grace, and I really get that. But it's very kind of, if you think Bunny Men, there's even a feel of Springsteen to me in this album. The material's really strong. This is the guy who was the lead vocalist, the front man, songwriter of the Sound, British London post-punk outfit, and I've got lots and lots of his stuff solo with other projects. But this is one I've been after for a long time. But because it's 1992, obviously there weren't many pressed. But I managed to get hold of this one from Italy, actually. Got this from Italy. But fantastic album, really strong. I've had the CD for a long time, but I've wanted the vinyl for a long time and tracked it down. So I'd say that was my growl for the month. A couple of albums now very closely related. Another one of my favourite groups in the 80s, post-punk band from Sheffield, the Comsat Angels. And the Comsat Angels made 9 albums. This was number 6 of 1986 on the Ireland label. I'd say out of the 9, the first 3 albums of the Comsats, the 3 on Polydor, Sleep No More, Fiction, and Wait for a Miracle, the debut one, are their strongest ones. But I enjoy this album. Comsat Angels toured heavily in the US and all over Europe, huge in places like Holland, and they've still got a cult following, although they packed up in 1995. I think they got together again for about a year after, in the 2000s, but they were basically 1978 to 95. But the Comsat Angels, so Chasing Shadows, it's good. It's good. Another one which relates to them, of the 9 albums, there was one album, because there was a dispute. There was a dispute because of their name, Comsat Angels, with the communications satellite company in the US. So they were forced, just for one album, to change their name. So they changed their name to Dream Command. So this is album number 7, came out in 1990, also on Ireland. But Stephen Fellows, who's the front man, one of the key songwriters, the guitarist for the Concert Angels, 4-piece, lead vocals, guitar, bass, keyboards and drums. But Stephen Fellows, the guitarist, lead singer, he said this was their worst album. And okay, it's certainly nowhere near the first 3 in their catalogue, but I still quite enjoy it. But it was the one album that came out as Dream Command, and it was only issued, I think, in the US. It didn't even come out in the UK. So again, this is quite a rare album, but it's not the same quality as Brittle Heaven, Adrian Bourne. A band who are very up and down for me, Gotta Be in the Mood, is Sonic Youth, and I picked up Goo, this one, 1990, their 6th album. I really like Kim Gordon, so when she does lead vocals, when she's heavily involved in a track, I tend to like it, I tend to get more from it. But they're a band, sorry, for me, which are I've got to be in the mood for. If I'm not in the mood, can't listen to them at all. But if I'm in the mood, they're good, very, very, very edgy. Richard McCook, actually, I remember him recently saying that about XTC. Well, they're like that for me. I've got to be in the mood to enjoy them. I can't just put them on. But Sonic Youth from 1990. This one I bought in the month, which is Wizard Brew, the debut album from Wizard and from Roy Wood and Wizard, 1973. This is the first press. It was the Mojo Top 50 for one of the most eccentric albums ever. Pure rock and roll, art rock, reached number 29 in the UK. For me, this is a classic one where an artist has produced the album and the production, I think, is dreadful. Really, really poor production. I mean, it's so crowded, it's quite messy, a lot of the tracks. There's some probably decent tracks in there, but the production is so poor. I've always been a great believer of producers produce. That's what they're brilliant at, and artists should write and perform. And this is a classic one of those. It should have been so much better if a proper producer would have actually got hold of it at the time. But this is from 1973. Right, Ben, we're going to Melbourne. And a band which I've got into recently, I don't know a huge amount about them, but a friend of mine absolutely loves them, encouraged me to hear some of the material, heard some of the material, and they're great. They're formed in 2010, 6 members. They've made masses and masses in that 12 years of records. 20 studio albums, 10 live albums, 2 comps, 3 EPs. They're Aussie prog rock from Melbourne. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. This is Butterfly 3000. This came out a few years ago. 2021. This is their 18th album, and it's psych rock. It's just got a really nice feel to it. It's great to listen to. Great guitar work. Psych rock, psych pop, acid rock, dream pop. It's psych to me. It's pure psych rock. They're everything about them as well. All the artwork is absolutely fantastic. It's so psych. And what you find with these Gizzard albums is they all come in these brown bags. And this one, where you've got here Butterfly 3000, psychedelic, all about them. King Giz ride in on their yellow-bellied brown snake, catch some smoke and slither off to the foot of the rainbow to work on their next opus. Brilliant. And you've got a lucky dip, red, blue or yellow vinyl, and I got the red vinyl, but really good, from Melbourne. Interested to know what Ben thinks of them, actually. And at a record fair last week, I picked up their 16th album, which is just called KG, and this was 2020. As I say, they have produced so many albums, but I will be picking up some more of this because I really enjoy their music. King Gizzard. This one also came in a brown bag. Next album is one which is being mentioned all over the VC at the moment, and actually Richard McCook again, who actually mentioned this one first in my eyes, and that's where I started listening to it from, and that's the debut album from Wet Leg. And as I say, this is being shown quite a lot at the moment. Came out 8th of April 2022, just a few months ago. Chaise Lounge, which was the lead-off single, went viral. I mean, it's all over. If you look at YouTube, I mean, there's loads of videos. There's loads of videos of the band, actually. What I like about them is that they really have fun. It's a fun album, and you can see the two girls in the band having fantastic fun when they're making videos, when they're making music. Hester Chambers and Rhiannon Teasdale. They come from just over the water from where I live, Portsmouth, just outside of Portsmouth. They come from the Isle of Wight on the south coast of England. So, but really good album. And I managed to get a yellow vinyl or lime, something like that. Here we go. Okay. My next album, I'm probably going to upset all the big shoegaze fans out there now, because I've picked up Shoegaze Classic, which I never had in the collection, and this has been on my list to pick up. Picked up Loveless, and 1991, their second album. Although this is deemed probably maybe the start of shoegaze in a big way, it's obviously an absolute classic album. It reinterprets guitars, pedals, reverb, etc. is dripping in it. It's very experimental at the time with guitars. When it comes to shoegaze, I still tend to prefer Slowdive, Ride. I mean, I love if the Cocteaus are class shoegaze, which I would put them in that category, although they were about in the 80s, and I've got quite a few of theirs. I still tend to prefer that, in particular Shoedive, I think. But this is obviously an absolute classic album, and I'm pleased to have it in the collection. But it needs to grow me more. Sorry, shoegaze fans. And the final album I'm going to show is the one which has been on the turntable most this month. And again, this was a recommendation from Brian, Embryonic Robot, and a band I'd never heard of. They've made quite a few albums. They've made 10 albums, because this is the current one, the 10th album. The indie rock band from Austin, Texas, Spoon. And when Brian actually put them up, I looked at quite a lot on YouTube and liked it. Then I bought this album. This album, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Really, really strong album. Wild, Hardest Cut, My Baby Howled, the opening track. The guitar work, the actual guitar riffs, the vocals, Britt Daniel, brilliant vocals, really love it. This is a band I certainly will be buying a lot more material, a lot more vinyl, because it's absolutely excellent. For me, top album of the month that I've been playing. Really, really good. So thanks, Brian, for that recommendation. Fantastic. Right, that's all, folks. Picked up a lot this month, and very eclectic, a lot of different genres and everything. It's just the way they come out. But yeah, I'm really pleased with what I've got. So until the next time, thanks. Bye, folks.